Podcast, and this episode could very well easily go out of date. So let's do an Adam Fleming and do a used cast for you guys. We are recording this just after 6 o'clock on the 23rd of April 2026. It's the 1 year anniversary of the first expansion announcement in the PWHL. Oh, I can't believe it. This time last year we had our first expansion franchise get announced. That was Vancouver. Vancouver went first, and then 1 week later we had Seattle get announced. So yeah, can you believe it already? Yes. Yeah. So this, as I said, this episode could very easily go out of date. That's why I want to do ties down. There's been a lot of videos. There's been a lot of episodes. There's been a lot of episodes. That I want to do on various potential expansion markets, particularly as the hockey scene has been very lively pretty much since we've got back from Minneapolis at the end, back in mid-March. But of course, with the league still being coy about when we're going to hit expansion, I'm not going to do those. But once we do get those expansion details, you want to do on Hamilton, don't you? I would do an episode on Hamilton, because obviously, you know, the AHL is going to be going to Hamilton next year. So So I'm going to pose a question to you guys, and I want each of us to try and give it a good go at answering this. Let's get straight to it. Okay. So how do we feel about non-Takeover Tour markets landing teams? So what I mean by that is a city that has not been featured on the Takeover Tour land an expansion team. Because there's been a recent article on the Hockey News that's suggesting that there's a possibility that some non-Takeover Tour cities, I'm not going to name them, because that would then start a whole different conversation, and I really don't want to get sidetracked today. So that's markets that have not been in a Takeover Tour game. How do you feel about that? Because I personally wouldn't mind if non-Takeover Tour markets land teams, because we can't really just limit expansion to cities that have only ever done Takeover Tour games. We just can't do that. We have to branch out eventually. Yeah. So I wouldn't mind, but I don't know how you two feel about it. For this upcoming round, no. For this upcoming expansion round, I probably would not be in favour of it. Especially how the Takeover Tour this year really expanded its outreach. Right? You had a good mixture of markets that previously did the tour and new markets. And with some markets, you really made a big deal because some of them got 2 games. Yeah. Canberra, Edmonton, Detroit, who are kind of the 3 big tickets that you would think should be live for expansion. Then Chicago got 2, and Halifax got 2. I don't think Halifax is going to get a team. I think Halifax was don't get me wrong, I think Halifax was a great destination for a Takeover Tour game, but I think the logistics right now just don't add up. So I think Halifax might be someone we come back to in the future, but for not right now. Yeah. Not for 26, 27. No. So you think, well, what was the point of these markets being made front runners and given 2 games when you've had markets that had no games sort of now creeping into the rearview mirror? Yeah. It doesn't feel, to me, it wouldn't feel right. Because I think a lot of people this year have really seen the tour as testing markets for expansion, that they did this time last year. I mean, us 3, I think we conceded that for. Yeah, I feel like us 3 this season conceded that, yeah, the tour is also a way to test out expansion markets, whereas this time last year, us 3 particularly saw it as a way to just gauge interest and grow our footprint and go to markets that haven't got PWHL. No, I wouldn't mind the future round. So if we do get the 14 expansion this year, you're probably looking at sometime after the current CBA. Yeah, so you're looking at the early 2030s, 2031, 2032, maybe that could be the third wave. Yeah, that would be when I would then put new teams in that are not Takeover Tour markets. That's when I would do it. I'd say this second round, no, go to markets that have already proven that they are engaged and enthusiastic about having the league. And then in the third wave, that's when I would then go, okay, maybe should we go this one? Should we do that one? It's a huge gamble. Oh yeah, it's a huge gamble to do. I mean, this is why when Florida did that little tease. Yeah, we have to do an episode covering that, because we do now know what that tease was. We have to do an episode on it, yeah. So go and turn it up, yeah. But right when Florida did that tease, everyone just put 2 and 2 together, got 5. And I was saying, no, because they've not been tested. You were very adamant with Florida that, why, when they haven't been tested? You've kind of felt, wouldn't it be better to test the market out first with a Takeover Tour game? And I think Florida would be a very good, if we're asking which markets we'd like to see get Takeover Tour games next season, I would definitely put the Panthers arena up there. I think it's a great arena. I think that would be really good. Plus they did very good hosting the All-Star Weekend a few years ago. Didn't even take some of the skills competition events outdoors. They did. So with Florida, that All-Star Weekend generally felt like the city got involved, because normally All-Star Weekends in the NHL you just stick to the arena. You don't normally see what happens outside. So I think Florida would be a really good market. But I think I also agree with you. Let's give them a Takeover Tour game first. Let's test the market up by that way, and then we'll see what happens. So I think Florida would be someone I'd love to see get a Takeover Tour game next year. And of course, when I say Florida, I mean the Panthers, whatever their arena is called these days. I don't know what it's called anymore. Something Bank Arena. So we're talking Florida, I mean the Panthers, not Tampa. That's what I mean in terms of Florida. You've got to clear that up. Like how if you say California, do you mean me in the Bay Area, or do you mean these two in SoCal? It would be a huge gamble to take if you go for markets that have not been given a Takeover Tour game yet. No, it would be a huge gamble. But if the league thinks it can pay off, then who are we to stand in the way? Yes, because I've said time and time again, I have said that I want the right markets in this league and not just any markets. So the league was to this time tomorrow, say, here are the 4 new teams. Would I have reservations depending on who the markets were? Maybe. But I wholeheartedly trust this league to know that they have made the right decision for the league. And I am confident that the league would not have gone into that particular market if they did not believe it could work for the long term. Yeah, because obviously a lot of people just look at York and think, how has that worked? How has that survived 3 seasons? How have they been in overall 16 when the numbers just don't speak for themselves? But you're right, George. We have to have confidence that the league knows what it's doing. It's just those markets that have been named. No, don't start. Do not start. I told you we're not naming it today because that's a completely different conversation. So. But if you want, we could name potential markets that we think could potentially be expansion markets that in the future that haven't been doing Takeover Tour games yet. Because I've got 2. Yeah, you're still banging the drum on Cleveland and Milwaukee. Well, I think those are 2 strong markets in hockey. Yes, they have not got AHL teams, but their AHL teams have had true impact record. I mean, Cleveland won the Calder Cup in my first year of the AHL, which was the 2015-16 season. I know, long time now. The Milwaukee Admirals have found good success in recent years. They've managed to make consecutive Western Conference finals of the Calder Cup. They've managed to pull off reverse sweeps of the Calder Cup playoffs. So I think those 2 markets are really strong markets. I think if we're looking at non-Takeover Tour markets, those who I would put in. Plus, the PWHL has already proven it's got a good relationship with the AHL, given how the Big Swan Scepters share with the Rocket and Marlies respectively. That partnership has worked brilliantly. So that's, and of course, there's a lot of Canadian markets that you could potentially go to. But a lot of them are already given Takeover Tour games. Yes. Yeah. It's kind of hard to think of a city in Canada that's not had a Takeover Tour game yet. It's kind of hard. Yeah. It's kind of hard to do that. But okay, what's your position? Because Lady said not this round. So what would your position be, Pluto? If the league came out to when they make the announcement and say that there's non-Takeover Tour markets? Yeah. I'm not sure I would be best pleased because, again, what was the point of the Takeover Tour being used as a massive drive for expansion if we weren't going to go for Takeover Tour games? Markets have had Takeover Tour games. Yeah. So that's why I think we need to really have a discussion about how we can improve the Takeover Tour. Yeah, it's an episode that we planned initially to do back at the beginning of the tour, this year's tour. And then we held off when we were in Minneapolis. We thought, do we need to do it? And then now I think, now this has happened. I think, maybe. So then what we're going to do is we'll workshop it over the summer and maybe early September. That's when we'll probably do it. Because we need the whole summer to really think through what we're going to do. Yeah. So we're going to come up with ways how we can improve the Takeover Tour, and we'll do an episode on that over the summer. Get it published beginning of autumn. Because I think it will take us a lot of time to get that done. I'd rather, I agree with my partner here. I'd say for this cycle, you do 4 markets that are beginning Takeover Tour games, and then the next cycle, then that is when you start making the gamble, because it's still too early. Yeah, I just feel it's still too early in our tenure to make this gamble. We're at the business end of season 3. We're then going to go into season 4. I think this is a gamble that's probably best for the next decade. So at some point in the 2030s. I can see that timeline that they just working. If you get 14 to 26, 27, and the leaders made it very, very clear that when we hit 12, that's it. We're gonna hold. So basically, it's like if you play Texas poker. We're gonna hold. You in or out? No, I'm gonna hold. And I know nothing about poker, so maybe try to ask me. This is correct. So the leaders made it very clear. When we hit 12, we're gonna hold for a few years. We're going to let the talent pool build back up, and then we'll look back again. So you could potentially see after the CBA gets renegotiated in 2031, after that, that's when you then add maybe another 4 in, and then that gets to 16, and then you can maybe go 2, 4. But you seem more keen on it than we are. Well, because I kind of feel that we can't really just, limit our options here when it comes to expansion, because like I said, we don't know how many markets. It's the exact same thing as last year. We don't know how many markets have thrown their hat in the ring. Now the league has made it very clear that there are lots of markets that are lining up, waiting to have a bite at the cherry. Waiting to have a bite at the cherry. There's lots of markets lining up. We know that the peers have made it very clear. Some want a team, and some are just happy to just have a Takeover Tour game every year. That was the word they used back in LSG. So we don't know. So it's highly likely that the majority of the markets interested are markets that have had Takeover Tour games and have hosted teams in the past. There also could be a handful of markets in there who haven't had a Takeover Tour game yet, haven't had a chance to experience the PWHL yet, but have their ducks in a row, ready to go, and are more ahead of the game than the others. Because remember, there's so many factors when it comes to who we give expansion team to, particularly in terms of infrastructure. So you look at the Detroit. I'm going to use Detroit, and I think Detroit because I'm going to keep saying this, even though I'm being constantly ignored. It's still a bad point. I'm going to bring it up. There is nowhere to go in Detroit. There is literally nowhere to go in Detroit. There's only one arena in Detroit, and it's not viable. It's not viable. But we did explore this. If you were to say you go to Grand Rapids, which again is another AHL market. If you go Grand Rapids, you can put the team there. It's a good arena. It's got a sizable capacity. I'm not sure what other towns are in there apart from the Griffins. But if you put a team there, name it the Michigan something something, and then you can get the whole of Michigan in, and then you have and then you do like a annual game at Little Caesars Arena, like the Victoire do it with Bell Center, and like the Scepters do with Scotiabank. Yeah. That's how you can do Michigan. But I've got a feeling that's not going to be listened to. It's going to be Little Caesars Arena, and it's all going to end in tears, and I'm going to be, well, I told you it wasn't going to work there. I said it would end in tears, but everyone listen. I need to prepare. Honestly, I'm prepared now, because everyone seems to think that Detroit is going to land it hands down. Everyone thinks Detroit's done enough. Like how us three are convinced that Denver's done enough. So it would not surprise me if Detroit gets announced. It would not surprise me to go to Little Caesars Arena. But don't come crying to me if it ends in tears. I'm just not confident. There's too many teams in that barn already, and they're also going to put the WNBA by the end of the decade. If that's coming in 2029. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, because Detroit's one of the many markets that the WNBA has announced expansion to in the next few years. I do wonder if we should be following the WNBA's model for expansion, because this might be another episode for a different time, but I'll just mention it briefly. With the WNBA, they've announced already this year that there's going to be more expansion teams, but they've announced them for like in da-da-da-da-da. So it's not this time next year, it's like either 2 or 3 years down the line. Now, do you reckon the PHL can maybe do that? Well, it would be smart, depending on who the markets were. If it was Calgary, then absolutely you could say that, because obviously Calgary's got a problem with like Detroit. Yep, yeah, and we don't know what's going on with the new arena in Calgary. We don't know who for definite is going to move there in 2027-28. We know the Flames are, but are the Wranglers going to join them, George? Are the other teams that are there going to join them? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't get why Calgary doesn't then just build a smaller downtown arena, like have the new arena, but also then like build a more smaller one, like a 8,000 seater, and that could be where you can put the Wranglers in and a potential PHL Calgary team. Anywho's, yeah. So eventually, I'm already prepared for Detroit to land a team, and everyone's going to be happy because it's all going to be Little Caesars Arena, and I'm going to be here in our work studio, playing out my pews, and I'll just get ignored. But they are bad reasons. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can make it very, very clear. If Detroit gets a team, we do the episode. You can make it very, very clear. You voice your opinions. Oh, that'll be the last I'll say, and that'll be it. Anyway, because I'm getting sick of it now. But yeah. So I kind of feel we cannot limit our options. We have to be open-minded to literally anybody who comes and makes us an offer. We listen to it. Doesn't mean we'll definitely take them up on it, but we will listen to them and see. Okay, maybe it's not for right now, but maybe we'll then give you a Takeover Tour game and see if you can prove your work. Yeah. But yeah, so it's interesting. Yeah. It's really exciting times, and I'm really glad the way that this article came out. But I'm not pleased with who they named as the potential suitors that could potentially swoop in. Well, it's only one of them. The other one, they've named 2. One I'm not pleased with, which I think you can tell for obvious reasons. And the other I'm like, ooh, yeah, maybe, yeah. That could be, yeah. And I'm very familiar with that other market. So, yeah, it's an AHL market that's been named. And I think it will be a really good one. So, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. And they just hurry up and tell us! I know! Because you really push it if you want to get it done for this season. Yeah. They've made it very clear we want next season to have more teams. Well, you really are pushing it. And on the website, there's the goal plan. They said the rest of the order, that is TBD. It's like, come on, guys. We've got playoffs next week. We don't want to have expansion news during that. I've been saying that on the social media all this week. If you're going to do expansion news, please do it by the end of this week. I do not want next week to go into the start of what's going to be the most toughest World Cup playoffs yet. I do not want to go into those next week and then we've got to come back up here because the league has just announced expansion. No, I want our focus from next week to be on the World Cup playoffs. And of course, if they do what they've done the last 2 seasons and announce the award nominees during the playoffs, fine. We'll come and do that nomination show like we have done. That's fine. I can handle that. Yeah, I can handle that because that's just a straightforward social media post where they see hits and when they put the names of the nominees. That's fine. I can handle that. But what I'm not going to handle is if during the World Cup playoffs we get expansion news and it's just like, ugh. Because I just think that would be a distraction. Yeah. I think that would be a distraction. Yeah. Have expansion news during the playoffs. We're trying to focus on who's going to be winning the World Cup because it's really tough. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Especially how Boston and Montreal have got the home advantage. It already just feels like it's going to be tough. Well, it's going to be tough either way. But we knew that. Yeah, we always knew. Every single year we've always known it's always going to be a really tough playoffs because there's no easy opponent in this league. And, you know, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we will see what happens. Yeah. But I think either way it's going to be exciting. Yeah, it's going to be exciting playoffs either way. But that's what I want my focus to be on from next week. Not expansion. Yeah. Yeah, so I have been saying all this week, if you're going to do expansion news, can you please do it by the end of this week, and then we all know, and we can then just go into the World Cup playoffs and just focus on that, and then, obviously, as soon as we crown a new champion, that's when all hell can then break loose. Yeah, because we're not going to do protection lists. If there is expansion, we're not going to do protection lists after the files. Nope. We're going to do exactly what we did last year. We're going to do exactly what we did last year. I'm going to lock the door and no one leaves. We don't get any food. We don't get any drinks. Lock the door and nobody leaves until we've all agreed on these lists. And this year's going to be a lot harder because there's 2 extra teams to do. Yeah. It was pretty much like, if you checked that episode from last year, it was pretty much like a lock-in situation. I just locked the door, and we didn't let anyone of us out until we had done it. We couldn't even go to the loo. Well, I'm not going to go there either. We weren't even allowed loo breaks. And it was end of spring, start of summer, so the summer heat as well was like, ugh. Yeah, it's going bad already. We're in April, guys, and already we've got some summer heat. Oh no, riding our way. And we've still got a full month of spring left to go. Because spring technically is supposed to be March, April, May. But it seems that the summer heat has already sort of swooped in. I'm actually feeling it today, actually, so it's like, oh god. Yeah, so we get really short springs in this country now, guys. We get long summers and short spring and autumn. That be a fair statement? Yeah. We get really short. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel winter now starts after Thanksgiving. Yeah, because the cold front then sort of comes in about that time. Yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm already thinking that this year's protection lists are going to be a lot harder to do this year than they were last year. That's not because it could potentially could be 4 more teams. It's just of the current talent pool right now. And I'm trying to think of. Anyway, no. When we do get expansion news, we will let you guys know. We of course will have episodes where we'll talk about each of the new teams that will be joining us. So it could be interesting. We could be in for some curveballs. We could maybe be seeing non-Takeover Tour sorry, markets. What? We're doing it again, and I'm doing that on it. Blame it on the heat. Blame it on the climate. Blame it on Zach Polanski. Sorry, election season about to sweep this country, sir. Just force of habit there. Just want to get the dig into my opponents now. Vote gold. Yeah, vote Lib Dem. Oh God! My ballot papers have just arrived today because I'm a postal voter. Wasn't always a postal voter. I did used to trek down to the polling stations to vote. But since COVID, I have been a postal voter. I don't think we should have had elections during COVID, so I made it very, very clear. I'm not risking my life to go and put a cross in a box while you've been partying. So no, thank you. I actually quite like it. I think it's for me being a postal voter is a lot better. Me being a postal voter is a lot better. So yeah, no, but election fever is sweeping this country. So get that little dig in there. As you guys know, I'm a Liberal Democrat. So we've got no allies. Nope. We have to really fend for ourselves in this climate. Yeah, so we could maybe see some curveballs. We could maybe see some curveballs that you normally would see during the election period, but yeah, so I think it would be surprising if we do get non-Takeover Tour markets in this cycle. But I think it would be interesting, and I think it would be an early cycle, because as Pluto said, it would be a huge gamble, a big one, a massive gamble to take at this early stage of the league's history. But the league's going to need to start taking gambles sooner rather than later, especially on trying to get a national TV deal in the US, because I think that has now got to be a priority. You've already had the Detroit Takeover Tour going out on national telly. You've got the World Cup finals going on national telly. So you're gonna have these testing grounds. But sooner or later, we are gonna need a TV deal, a national TV deal in the US, like there already is one in Canada. We're gonna need it. And because that will really help boost our revenue opportunities. So we need it whatever. So don't be surprised if the league now starts taking more gambles, more risks, because it's going to need to in order to establish itself in the foothold in the climate that we're in for the sporting world. Yeah. So are you for it? I am for it. I wouldn't mind the AHL market that's been named. I wouldn't mind that being the one that lands it. But who knows? But can you just hurry up and tell us? Tell us now, Amy and Jenna, please! The stress is killing me. I can't take any more. I can't handle it. Are we not? Especially after that blunder on the All Boys Club when Vancouver hosted Seattle last week. Yep. Oh yeah. So we pretty much know it's going to be 4. Just tell us! Can't take it anymore. I really can't. We just need to know now. We can all then, put our fears to bed. Let's just do it now. Tell us now! You bastards. Oh, God. It should be exciting. But at the same time, it's not. Well, at the same time, I've lost episode opportunities. There was a great article not just before the MSG game about ranking all the various Takeover Tour cities this year and their possibilities. And I would want to do that, but I can't really, because, what if the expansion comes and none of them get it? It's like, is this... Of course, I want to do the one on Hamilton, but I need to hold out in case Hamilton does land a team or not. It's just like, you're kidding me. I've got so much opportunity for content, it's being kept. It's had to be put on hiatus. No, not hiatus, George. Limbo! It's has to be put in limbo because it's what's going on expansion news! So give us the details! Tell us now! Please! Just tell us now! I can't take it anymore. He's going heat stroke. He's also just tell us now. Please, just tell us now. Get it on with. Let's get it done with. Let's have the news now. We can just then go to the World Cup playoffs, and then after that, brace. Oh God, it's gonna be worse this time, isn't it? How can it get worse than last year's expansion draft when basically we just oohed and ahed every single pick? It's like, whoa!
Whoa.
Well, it'll be good practice for the first round of the entry draft.
Oh, yeah.
We're all expecting that to be like, oh! That's because of how stacked this draft class is.
Oh, yeah.
I said last night I don't think we'll see any trades in the first round of the draft. Because why would you? And you gotta wonder, do the Scepters regret doing that trade with New York? Because they could have taken Casey O'Brien. I mean, I did not see Christina Taisokova going first overall last year. I really, until the pick happened, I did not. So, yeah. And then when that happened, we all thought, oh my god, is Casey O'Brien going to go to Tio? I bet they're regretting not making that trade. I bet they're regretting that now. I bet. Who was that for? Shelton. It was from Shelton. They trade Shelton. So you all trade Shelton to get that third round pick, and obviously the rest is history. So I bet Tia regrets doing that now. I bet they regret that now. And it's possible that they'll be lower in the draft order, because if you do it by gold plan standings, Tia won't get a look in, because obviously Tia can't go the gold plan. No, Tia can't go the gold plan because they're still in play. Yeah. If we're thinking draft order, I would say do first of the gold plan, second of the gold plan, third of the gold plan, then everyone else playoff standings. That's how I would do it. But we'll talk about that when we get draft details. Yeah. We'll talk about when we get draft details. Yeah, but any more final thoughts you want to make, guys? Okay. It's really interesting to see what's going to happen. I will be very shocked if we do get some non-Takeover Tour markets, but I do think there is opportunity. It's just you feel you would have still hold up. I just think maybe wait till the third wave of expansion, not in the second wave. Yeah. But we'll see. I think it's very interesting, and interesting how we're hearing about it right now. We should be close to getting the news. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. So. I'm going to reiterate what I said. It's a huge gamble, but I really hope it pays off. Because if it does pay off, then you could then now start to think, okay, well, just because a market hasn't given a Takeover Tour game doesn't rule out. So Pennsylvania, for example, is a state that really should be private PWHL expansion, but hasn't really given that much to the Takeover Tour. Well, can you blame after Pittsburgh? But people still do think Pittsburgh could be a contender. Philadelphia could be a contender. Yeah. So I think if they do take the gamble this time around, then I think it shows that for the future expansion waves, you could then have that mixture of do markets that have had Takeover Tour games and some that don't. And that could be the way forward. Yeah. So I actually do hope we do get some non-Takeover Tour markets as expansion teams soon, because you need to take that gamble sooner rather than later. If we do it now, then it sets up a premise of in the future, when it comes to future cycles, people look and think, okay, well, it's not guaranteed it's going to be all Takeover Tour cities. It could be some, it could be not, or it could be all non-Takeover Tour markets. You know, I mean, the last expansion cycle we had, both markets awarded games, awarded Takeover Tour games, then get awarded teams. In Seattle, Vancouver. This time around, we might see a mixture of non-Takeover Tour markets and some that were Takeover Tour markets. And in future expansion cycles, they could go for all non-Takeover Tour markets. So, I think it opens the doors to possibility and to new combination of the next expansion. And, yeah, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. So, like I say, hopefully this episode will not be out of date by the time I go to the episode production. If it does, then, well, this will then have to go on the cutting room floor. I never see the light of day. No! Never see the light of... Yeah. Yeah. So, until next time, take the guys...